Right, 11:30 at night, was going to go to bed and then thought I might have a quick look at something that it had me curious for about the last 3 months, since I've been talking to Rod VK3TG about it for 3 months. Just a quick story, had Rod and Dan come up, VK3TG and VK3VRX, and we had a ball, absolute ball. You've never seen three radio nuts absolutely just going crazy over. They were very interested in what I had sitting out in the shed, of course, and I was very interested in what they had in boxes. So pretty much there was enough there to keep us busy for 4 hours. It was good fun, so that's the main thing. Righto, so this is the FT75B Yaesu, which was accessorized with the power supply that basically gave you the ability to plug straight to 240 volts. Big multi-core connector that went through there, obviously with some high voltages because of the valve 12 BY7s, and there's 212 GB7s in there, which is not a valve that you'll hear a lot about because they didn't really continue through in a lot of stuff. We're listing on 40 meters at the moment on to Indonesians on 7085. And we've got a variable crystal oscillator here that will swing us. I've got to check exactly how far, but I'd say about 10 kcs. No, I wouldn't. Actually, the more I'm listening to that, I'd say about 5 kcs. There we go. I said different ones testing everywhere. So channel, well, let's talk about the channels first. Something Rod did very smart back in the 70s. He put a few crystals in this thing. And on 80 meters, 3.565, 3.570, 3.6. 3.6 being a really highly, great frequency to have in there for just getting on, sort of a Saturday night and calling CQ. I'm sure you'll get someone. Now, 40 meters is interesting. I'll just turn this fella down a little bit. 40 meters, very interesting. Back in the old days, if you remember, 7050 was still voice, 7075, and nowadays getting a bit close to FT8, 7085 still quite voice capable. 20 meters, 14.150. Two other blank spots there, so you never know. We might get a couple of crystals cut there for a couple of frequencies for a bit of fun. 15 meters, 21,160, 175, 195. 10 meters, 28.5, 550, 595. So you've got, a bit of swing on here as well. The other thing I was going to mention was that the one thing we haven't got for this, they're as rare as hen's teeth, but they do come up somewhere in the world anyway, is the external VFO called the Fox Victor 50C. It is FV50C, Fox Victor 50C. So if you ever have one of those sort of sitting in your cupboard somewhere that you think, what's that for? Ring me, email me, do something. Okay, so we're running the 240 volt power supply at the moment on this, and we're on channel 3, which puts us on 7075 on 40 meters. And once again, band selector, no different to every other radio, just your bands there, etc. And your channels are 1, 2, and 3. As such, and external VFO, obviously, if you've got the external VFO. I'll be interested to have a look at a circuit to see whether or not we could build something, because these were basically a 5 meg IF, so it'd be interesting to see what else might be able to convert. Obviously, the Fox Victor 50 Charlie Yaesu external VFO, we'd love one. So, if you want to make my day, just send me an email and say, hey, I've got one of those. Do you want to buy it? And I'll go, yeah, and we do. Absolutely. So, these little things, as I said, 12 BY7 and a couple of 12 GB 7s. So not something you're probably used to hearing a lot about, to be honest. But they were the only 3 tubes that were in this radio. So this was basically solid state with a valve output. And for the size that we're talking here, they're not overly big, are they really? But I'm getting now my tuner. I may have to just take a quick break. Yeah, sometimes it's wise to just check. I thought I was tuned up the other end of the band around 7.2, and I thought, I might need to just have a quick look at that. So, but okay, so we're going to go transmit test 1 2 1 2. Hello Indonesia. This is VK3 Charlie Mike testing 1 2. Hello test 1 2. We're not beaming quite at Indonesia at the moment, but those guys seem to be taking over the band around this time of night. Hello, 1, 2. Hello, 1, 2. Oh, my whistle's terrible. Let's call it 70 watts peak, and we'll just be a bit generous. So basically, this has not been touched for a long time. This has been in Rod's storage for a very, very long time. So these should get 100 watts. With a bit of playing around, I guarantee you we will get 100 watts. There's no question. But just at the moment, it has been sitting for years, and we'll go through and align it and have a bit of a play. And worst case scenario, I've got tubes for it, pop a few more tubes in it. But really, at 70 watts output, you're not going to go too wild changing anything out. The alignment's just a path that we take with a lot of older radios. We'll generally have a look at caps and bits while we're in there just to see anything bulging or looking terrible. Might be a good time to do that. But to give you an idea of just how sensitive the receiver is on this old beast, let's just take an off chance look at the frequency that I declared as the FT8 frequency. And here we go. So let's have a look at that meter. Now this is no preamps, no nothing. And I'll tell you what, I can move that FT8 transmit receive quite a bit there. There's probably, I don't know what that spread is actually, but it sort of sounds like maybe a KC or so. Although theirs sounds more severe, but it's coming off the other side of the signal. But I'm not going to try and suggest to you that this radio is sensitive enough to sorry, wrong word. Stable enough, not sensitive. It's sensitive enough to receive FT8. Stable? I don't think so. But hey, wouldn't that be fun trying? But certainly. That there will dominate that channel 2 crystal very heavily these days. And then down to 7050. And once again, all these frequencies are working. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, VK3, Charlie Mike on 7050 testing. And, look, just a great bit of history. Really is. Anyone who knows me knows that I just love the old stuff. I just, and I shouldn't, because it's not my forte 100% when it comes to repairs I've really got to battle through and think very heavily on whether or not I should be putting my fingers into some things. But generally we get there. With this one, Rod gave me a spare as well, which is fantastic because, that can just be the one day if we were to get a problem, that can be the winner that, gets you out of trouble. Now, the other bands at the moment, I'll have to swap antennas to get anything sort of really happening and come off my tuner. I'll just lean over. Which wrong antenna? Okay, so now we're on 80 meters. Although I'd say, no, I need to tune that. Anyway, we'll just have a quick knock through the frequencies. So we're going to go 3.565, 3.570, 3.6. Now, if we were going to hear someone, 3.6 would probably be the one. So I won't do that without tuning. Hang on. Yeah, I thought so. Look, I was just going to have a quick look. One of the things that I'm actually getting nearly 100 watts on 80 meters. The problem is my auto tune. I'll have to manually tune that, so I won't bother doing that right now. But my auto tuner doesn't like 100 watts sort of hitting it. It'll sit there and get a little bit confused. So, and as you'll notice on the front of this, there's no actual way of turning the power down. So when you go to CW mode, it's just going to full output. There is a tap that they do between these on, so you get either 30 watts or 30 or 100 watts. That's correct. So there is a way to sort of have a switch if you wanted to have an external switch to switch between high and low power. But this one, no one's bothered to do it, and I can understand why, because in the world of manual tuners and bits, no one would bother. But certainly, with the era. But I'm going to try 20 meters. I'm actually just going to, there's a couple of frequencies there. You just never know this time of night. 15 meters was where I was going to say we might hear something. But we'll go to 20 first. But that's where I was expecting to hear very little because it's down the band a fair bit. So we'll just quickly tune the antenna. Okay, so we've just tuned up on 20 meters, but I didn't think we'd hear anything there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our antenna tuner over to manual, actually bypass, sorry, because on bypass we should be able to now run the 16 element opti beam up about 70 feet. Now we should be able to go pretty much from channel 1, 2, 3, etc. Even on 20 meters, we really didn't need to use the tuner, and actually that was probably a mistake. So let's have a listen. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, getting about on 15 meters, 100 watts. So it peaked about 100. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, got a little spike at 100 before. 1, 2, 1, 2, 80. So yeah, a little bit of alignment, but minor, very minor. So let's go up to 10 meters where the antenna once again is resonant. Let's go back to channel 1. Now we're on 28.5 on the center there. 28.55, 28.595. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. Hello. Okay. A little bit less power there at the moment. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hello. 1, 2. About 40 odd watts. So we'll have a play with that and probably get that that number up a bit. Just having a look. About 46 on CW, which normally when you find a lot of old valve transceivers, when you start to see a set of valves that maybe are starting to give you a bit of trouble, it'll be your top bands that start to give you indicators initially. So certainly not unexpected. I think it's a bloody miracle that all these bands work, to be honest. It's amazing for the age, as you can imagine. All right, so I've put us back on the FT8 frequency to finish off, and we'll go to channel 3, hey, 7085. That'll maybe just be a few Indonesians, but now we were hearing Indonesians before, and quite seriously, we're down towards the US and long path Europe, so just bring ourselves up a little bit. You never know, we might hear the odd sort of signal. It'd be interesting to see what that's done to the FT8 signals. Yeah, that's dropped them back. A lot of the FT8 will be on the back of the beam there. Nothing on 7050, which would... Sometimes it's more the Indonesian stuff that you're going to hear this time of night. Okay, so that's been the FT75B. I tell you what, the one thing I didn't show you, or did I? Can't remember, was the speaker for mobile. So this mounts with the bracket underneath the radio, so that would sort of go underneath this fella here. And on the back of it has a full inverter circuit, etc. So it's got the same plug coming out of that box as this does here, except instead of being a 240 volts input, it's 12 volt input. Then brings up to your voltages here for the I think it was about... Gee, that's trying to remember the voltages of the output now. They weren't high. They weren't like 300 to 500 volts. It was lower. I'll have to just triple check that. Sorry, but I had a feeling they were like 200 and something volts. But certainly, they're getting a lot of effective gain out of especially off the inverter box. I think they're doing a great job for the 1970s. It's quite something. We're a bit lucky. We've even got things like these knobs here where the little bits, over the years have gone missing. We've got it's crazy, the collection of bits and pieces over the years. We've got a rainy day pile of stuff, and it just seems to be it's raining a lot lately because we go to it and we'll say, hey, look, we've got that bit and we've got that bit, and we can sort of make one radio look extremely good and probably 19 others look terrible. All right, so that's the Yaesu FT75B. Did come with its original manual and all copies, circuits, etc. Just big circuits for people who are blind like me these days. And just what a superb setup. if anyone comes across one of those VFOs, I'm only going to mention this about 9 times on the video, the Fox Victor 50 Charlie VFO. Please feel free to email me at brenton@posnav.com.au, brenton@posnav.com.au. Otherwise, you can get me on Facebook or even through the YouTube channel. I'm always monitoring comments and bits and pieces, so always happy to do that. Okay, please subscribe if you're having a bit of fun looking at some of the junk that we're playing around with. I use that word loosely. I love this stuff. Please join us at VK space ham sales and service, or Aussie Radio Pickers Facebook page as well. We're always interested to know what everyone else is doing too. So it's a great place to share, what you're up to as well. And we've got a lot of, we've got over 1,000 on the VK Space ham sales and service. The only reason I say VK Space is because there's a VK ham and a VK Space ham, as in VK, and then oblique ham. But anyway, the FT75B, absolutely impressed with it. You may not be, who knows, but I am. I just think they're a really good old classic that, a tribute to Rod VK 3TG. By the way, he's not dead. Tribute normally means, but no, real tribute to him, because he's just done such a fantastic job over the years. You'll see a few more videos on Rod's gear. And I have a habit of giving credit to the people that radios come from, because generally they've been the one who've fitted crystals. They've been the ones that have restored them. If I've restored something, sure, I'll tell you. But, it's good to know who the real smart people are, because probably I'm not one of them, but I'm just the guy having a bit of fun with this stuff. They said retirement would be interesting. So, we'll get this really well cleaned up too. I'm showing it to you raw. It's been in storage, but, how many radios do you get out of storage, fire up like I'm doing right now, and pretty much get a positive result on everything that you're doing? Some may argue the power could have been higher on some bands, but, we'll sort that. That's not going to be a major issue. And we want to find out if that YC75 Yaesu fits up in any way to it. It's, is it just a coincidence that the 75 and the 75 and Yaesu, or, it does look a little different having 6-pin in and out, but, and that probably does seem a bit sort of unusual for the 70s, although they did use them, more in Kenwood though, to be fair, in the 70s. We saw a few 6-pins being used, but and I'm a little bit interested on the compression in and out too, whether or not that actually is an actual compression circuit to drive it. So, but we'll find out more about that. And just credit where credit's due. That came from a great mate of mine over in South Australia, and now what's he changed his call to now? He was in Tasmania's VK7ZL. Bob, what did you change it to? I reckon it was AZL. Pretty sure it's VK5AZL now, over in South Australia. But Bob and his son Pete have been great mates of mine for about 100 years. So, and some very interesting bits. Actually, we'll see those two have come over from South Australia. Okay. This video went a little bit longer than I intended, but, I thought, well, you're testing it with me. I'm testing this live, and I thought, well, since I'm going to check a few bands, I'll take you on the journey with me. So it's a bit of fun. All the best from VK3CM, and we'll catch you soon. Cheers.